It is Qui-Gon Jinn Tuesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This morning's practices are drawn from the latest iteration of Buddha's easy meditation. Wrong button. Here we go. We turn to the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, which are sometimes described as Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. This mindfulness and meditation is supported by energy work, but a form of energy work. And by the way, Anu Yoga is energy work. But my favorite form of energy work, the energy work that is the most efficient, is also the most subtle. And it's simply working with finger positions, also known as mudras. So many people will use a timer when they meditate, but let's face it, phones can get lost, stolen, confiscated, or the like. I've always been drawn to playing with my fingers. Before I was exposed to the Bengali practice of crease counting, even as a toddler, in photographs I was seen playing with my fingers. And of course, I'm sure there are more embarrassing things I could be photographed playing with. But let's explore this real quick. So, we're going to play with 4 collections of 12 sets of 12 rounds. I would like to elaborate. And to do that, I'm going to switch to Jumbo Cam. Good morning, and welcome to my looming horrific face. So, let's begin with our right hand. Every time we inhale, we can advance the tip of our right thumb, so that over the course of 12 breaths, we could collect or record 12 rounds, assuming a round is just 1 inhalation and 1 exhalation. So, over the span of 12 breaths, we could move our right finger, advance our right thumb as follows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not only is this useful, but for keeping track of time, but for those of us who are neurodivergent, I consider it a fun form of slow motion stimming. But wait, there's more. Well, chronologically speaking, 12 rounds is not going to get us very far. So if we want to count to 144 rounds, we would simply multiply our 12 rounds by 12 sets. Enter our left hand. Upon our left hand, we can count 1, 2, 3 sets of 12 rounds, 4, 5, 6 sets of 12 rounds, 7, 8, 9 sets of 12 rounds, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 rounds. So now you can count to 144. Now, if you'd like to get as close to an hour as possible, I recommend gathering 4 collections of 144. And that brings us to the realm of our knuckles. By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, and placing these 2 hands palms up in our lap, be able to happily, each thumb would be able to happily count creases. And then after we've counted 144, we just switch to our ring finger, and then to our middle finger, then to our index finger. But wait, there's more. Now, if I was really smooth, I'd be able to transition much quicker, but I'm not that smooth. Okay. So I'm going back to button 9. This position of supporting our right knuckle at the base of our right little finger with the tip of our left little finger in our lap invites our subtle energies to coalesce at the horizontal secret wheel in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. And now that we've explored Mudra Anu Yoga, I would very much like to explore the mechanics of meditation with you. And we shall do so after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. And now, let's hit it. As I said on Celebrity Deathmatch, let's get it on. Wrong button. Here we go. So, Hatha Yoga is just a fancy and exotic name for mindfulness and meditation. So, to really meaningfully explain this, I got to tell you what meditation is not. I know it's lame, but it's the only way it'll make sense. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. It should therefore not surprise us that 90% of so-called meditation teachers implore their students to actively concentrate and actively analyze. The only parts of the brain that are capable of doing this are the discrete pathways, such as those found in the medial prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Overuse of this area will trigger our almond-sized amygdala, which is the seat of aggression and anxiety. Now, I don't know anybody in their right mind who want more aggression and anxiety. So, here's the good news. The enormity of our central nervous system consists of more than just these two regions. So here's what's wild. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are already wired to access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system is evolved to help us notice things vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which I'm sure you can tell is the opposite of concentration. But wait, there's more. What is it that we are wired to notice? Mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The easiest way to practice this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. What do we do? What do we do with all that which we noticed? Glad you asked. For every time we exhale, for the key to meditation is this. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, whether we mean to or not, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system ensconced within both our, the lower third of our spinal cord, as well as its upper third. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. In fact, and so the easiest now, when we do this, when we physically relax in harmony with our exhalation, all that we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel fleetingly less solid, less permanent, and less defining. Of course, there is an easy way to practice that, and it is this. They silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Armed with this knowledge, we can now meditate, practicing the ultimate courage of vulnerability. Welcome to the live stream. The easiest way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The most efficient way of practicing meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation or application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Welcome to this morning's live stream. I'm going to take a moment to wet my whistle. All right. So let's consider the Eightfold Path. To do that, I will first remind you that the seventh fold of the Eightfold Path is mindfulness, and the easiest way to practice mindfulness, the easiest way to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice our perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The eightfold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is meditation, and the easiest way to physically relax in harmony with our exhalation in such a way that whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and less defining, is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Now, what I'd like to do is, quick like a bunny, tap button 5 and take you to some of my teaching materials. So I gotta push the right button. Here we go. Okay. So, what if enlightenment was simply mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path? As a child, I had difficulty learning to tie my shoes, but after great time and effort and tears, eventually I got so good at tying my shoes that I could do so spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. The same thing holds with the Buddha's Eightfold Path. So I'd like to show you how that works real quick. But first I get to collect a typo because I'm funny that way. So the the first benefit of practicing mindfulness and meditation at least once every 12 hours is that it calms our amygdala, the seat of, oops, I have to push the right button in the right way. Here we go. Here we go. So it calms our amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety. And number 2, it stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy and compassion and love. Now let's return to our diagram of the Eightfold Path. "50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. The Buddha was fond of organizing that which could be perceived into the categories known as the 4 bases of mindfulness. So those would be the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. So when we apply loving kindness to the mental, we wind up with kind intention. When we apply loving kindness to the interpersonal, we wind up with kind communication. When we apply kindness to our behavior, we have kind conduct, also known as nonviolence, which is the essence of the pratimoksha vows. And when we apply loving kindness to commerce, we experience the impulse to replace cruelty and competition with kindness and cooperation. So let's continue. I'm going to read. The more that we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more that we will find that our choices and our utterances and our deeds begin to flow. Well, actually, I skipped a step. I apologize for that. So, getting back to the idea of loving kindness, this is why the highest love can never be the product of concentration or analysis, because concentration and analysis make us anxious and aggressive. The highest love is the uncontrived byproduct, the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of our mindfulness and our meditation. The more we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more we will find that our choices, utterances, and deeds flow with the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. Not scattered spontaneity, but centered spontaneity. And this is the sixth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. That's only leaving one other aspect of the Eightfold Path, the view that supports letting go. The more we sit in mindfulness and meditation, the more we cannot help but notice change. The more we cannot help but notice changes of our sights and sounds and sensations and flavors and scents. We notice changes in our emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We can try our hardest not to see change, but we will see change. It is an inevitability. And so the great irony is this: mindfulness and meditation are the gears and pulleys that drive the enlightenment machine. The Buddha taught that one could accomplish full enlightenment in less than 7 years, or 7 quarters, or 7 months, or 7 fortnights, or 7 weeks, or even 7 days. Isn't that cool? Let us continue. So, quick review. Upon our right hand, with each inhalation, we can advance our thumb so that over the span of 12 breaths, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, always starting with the little finger. So with our right hand, we can count 12 rounds. With our left hand, we can count 12 sets of 12 rounds. And this is this brings us now to our second of 4 collections of 144 rounds, which we keep track of by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger on the tip of our left ring finger in our lap. Doing so gently invites our subtle energies to coalesce at our navel. We come now to our third of 4 collections of 144 rounds, divided between the 12 rounds of our right hands and the 12 sets of our left hands. I should say, counted on our left and right hands. So to keep track of this, the third of 4 collections, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left middle finger, in our lap. Let us return to the subject of mindfulness and meditation. The essence of mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, helping us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. The essence of meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, thus helping us to experience that which we perceived during our previous inhalation as fleetingly less solid, less permanent, and less defining. Now let us turn our attention to the idea of Buddha nature. Buddha nature is just a quaint Iron Age explanation of that which we can now explain through neuroscience. We can think of Buddha nature as like being a tripod. Point leg 1. Every entity with a fully functional sympathetic nervous system is capable of mindfulness. Every entity with a fully functional parasympathetic nervous system is capable of meditation. Every entity with a fully functional anterior cingulate gyrus is capable of empathy. Each of us can not only practice, but master the Buddha's path in as little as a fortnight. Good morning and welcome to the practice session, to the meditation practice. We come now to our fourth of four collection of 12 sets of 12 rounds. Let's explore how that works. Every time we inhale, we can advance our right thumb so that over the course of 12 breaths, we could collect 12 rounds, assuming that a round is simply one inhalation and one exhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Always beginning with the little finger. 12 rounds, chronologically, it's not going to take us very far. So on the left hand, we can count sets. Once again, beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3 sets of 12 rounds. 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 12 rounds. 7, 8, 9 sets of 12 rounds. 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 rounds. So if you want to sit for the better part of an hour, you'll want to collect 4. You want to gather 4 collections of 144 breaths. At this point in our practice this morning, we are on our 4th collection, and we keep track of that simply by resting the great knuckle, the base of our, the great knuckle, the base of our right index finger, upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap, palms up, so our thumbs can happily count creases. This is great for those of us who are neurodivergent. This is a rather fun and productive form of stimming. And energetically, it can gently invite our subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. So I'd like to quickly remind you of that the essence of mindfulness is to notice things in a very particular way, to notice things vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of concentration. But to notice what? To notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, or imagination. The easiest way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. There is a way to relax in harmony with our exhalation so that all that we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and even less defining. And the easiest way to do that is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Now, let's continue. So, in essence, the essence of mindfulness and meditation is the silent and mental recitation of this ease. What I'd like to do now is turn to another sheet, another page. I'll go to page 5, I think. So what I'd like to do, let's see. Let's go over. Here we are. And I'm going to hit Control Enter and Control Shift Asterisk. There we go. So let's explore the 5 mental poisons, the 5 mental poisons and wisdoms. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel, let me make this bigger so you don't go blind over here. There we go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as mirror-like wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever greed we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as discerning wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever befuddlement we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as invading wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as all-accomplishing wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as equalizing wisdom. So let's go back to page 5. Oops. That was page 5. Let's go back to page 9. And let's practice. This is our last set of 144 rounds, so let us make this count. I sincerely hope that you found this to be beneficial. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.